Now, as good as jiu-jitsu is and as good as you felt doing it, you go on tour, and just before you go on tour, you break up with a girl at the time.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Back to the book, without the feeling of being needed, I didn't feel as I had much purpose in my life. I started falling back into fuck-up mode. I was seeing several different chicks around at that time.
Actually, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
hey, you wrote the book.
Yeah,
if it's wrong, man, you got to correct it.
No. I'm correcting you. No, it wasn't even so much over just a breakup of a chick. I'd been with this chick for a while, and she had a daughter, and I had raised her daughter. Oh. So it was like, also not just feeling like betrayed and everything else that goes along with a breakup, but as any father or stepmother, you have a certain, you develop a love for a kid, even if it's not yours. And that was really what was hard on me more than anything, because the mother was all fucked up on drugs, and I had actually taken the kid from her, and I was raising the kid for her while she was off just being a fuck up. And then the grandparents and me got in contact, so I wound up doing, what you do. This is your family, this is your blood. You got to grow up with your family. So that's why I was struggling. It was because it was like, I never had a father that gave a fuck about me. So every time I've been in a child's life, it has really mattered to me. Like to protect them, because no one protected me, So that was why I really started to lose my way again. Because I was like, I don't have a purpose. There's no one for me to love, no one for me to care about, and no one to feel my love, So yeah, the drugs started to fill in the gap again, But fortunately, that didn't last forever. It's funny, man. Some of the toughest motherfuckers actually got the biggest hearts, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is, I'm sure that underneath this rugged exterior, you're quite a sensitive motherfucker, and... Are
you talking about me?
No, I'm talking about the guy behind you. But, seriously, some of the most illest motherfuckers I've known in my life have been some of the most sensitive people on the inside, and I think that part of that illness has been a shield, to protect themselves. I know, and it probably was with me in a lot of ways. If I wasn't as violent as I was, my neighborhood would have devoured me. My environment would have devoured me if I wasn't as...
Yeah, so to your point, I agree with you. And that's one of the reasons why I think going back to jiu-jitsu or boxing or wrestling or Muay Thai, but when you, me, when we're kids, young men, going back to the whole thing about proving yourself, how are you going to prove yourself that you're tough when you're a kid? You go out and you fight and you beat people up.
You do stupid shit.
You do stupid stuff. When you do jiu-jitsu, you're tough. And when you look at some guy in the street, you're like, hey, that guy might stab me, but if he doesn't, I will choke him out and it'll take me 15 seconds. So I don't have to do anything to prove. That's why I think it's, for me, and I think it was Tim Ferriss asked me this question. He's like, what makes a man or something like that? And I was like, to your point, for me, learning how to fight. So learning jiu-jitsu, getting married and having kids, and going into combat. Those were the three things that I was like, okay, those three things, they were evolutionary to me. And they were the three things that happened where I said, okay, I don't have to walk around trying to prove myself to this guy or that guy. I know how to fight. I don't even need to impress that girl over there. I got a girl, and I got mouths to feed, so I can't act like an idiot. And I know I'm not a coward. If shit goes down, I know that I will do the right thing. I know that 100%. So those were the things that to me gave me like security as a man. Mm-hmm. And so it's the same thing that you're saying, how, when we're young and you're out there just to try and prove and protect and shield your emotions,
your sensitivity.
That's what you do. And so a good way to get over that, in my opinion, is instead of having to fake it, you learn it for real. I wish I would have had jiu-jitsu when I was a young kid. That would have helped me immensely. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just one person I'll just mention briefly is Hyan Gracie, another brother that I truly loved, and you know, he died in 2007. It was very tragic, and here's a guy who was feared by 99.9% of the people that knew him, and the 1% of people that knew him fucking loved him. And he was, you know, it's like I'm saying, like, you know, you got these people who are fucking dangerous motherfuckers. You don't even want to look at them wrong or for too long, you know. Yeah. But if they fucking love you, man, nobody better fuck with you ever.
Well, you got a part in the book where you're talking about he came home, he fought in Japan. Comes home, and he gives you, you know, you just had your first kid. He gives you $2,000.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, just for being you.
And I didn't want to take it. And he's like, shut the fuck up. It's for the baby. You know, I mean, I know motherfuckers my whole life who didn't do that for me, you know.
Yeah. You know, Dean Lister, who's you know one of my friends and training partners and all that. But he's got some funny stories about Hyan. And he's like, Hyan was fucking crazy. You know? Like Hyan's
no, he was a crazy motherfucker. But to be honest, though, I never had any crazy experiences with him, because I feel like when he looked into my eyes, he knew he didn't have to prove anything to me.
Yeah, you guys kind of counted it out. What's that called?
There was a
canceled each other.
Well, it was like, you know, I don't have to prove I'm a badass to you. You don't have to prove you're a badass to me. Let's just go out and chill.
That's good.
You know, we'd go out and like go to stupid movies, like, you know, we'd go out and just work on his English. You know, like I never, you know. Yeah, we had fun, you know, but we never like got in brawls and got, you know, rah. You
but
know?
I mean, you know, he died. And he got arrested.
It was a whole bad scene. Situation. But you know, again, it's like, you know, this is somebody who was very emotional, and sadly, you know, like many people, started using drugs as a way to deal with shit, I guess. I don't want to say to deal with shit, but maybe just as a little bit of an escape. You know, you got to figure what kind of fucking, you know, I mean, his favorite song was A Boy Named Sue by Johnny Cash, and he really felt like he was living that life by being him, you know, with the name Gracie, and having to be, you know, always having to step up, always having to prove himself, and always having to be a badass. And I think that when you're forced to react and deal with things on that level all the time, and especially when you are actually a nice person at heart, or a sensitive person at heart, when you're forced to always take that stance, that shit's a fucking tough one, man. You know, that's a hard road to travel. And, you know, I always have him with me. Always. I always have him sitting on one shoulder and Henzo sitting on the other. And you know, when I am confronted by, you know, serious shit, I think about, you know, how one would react and how the other would react, and then I try to find my own sense in there.
Yeah. I mean, it's Hyan's kind of a classic example of everything that we're talking about. I mean, for all practical purposes, you shouldn't be here right now. You should be either dead or in jail or whatever. Yeah. And he did some shit that was going down the same path, but he didn't make it through the path.
You know, and that's, you know, that's the thing, man. I feel really fortunate that I had music, because I think that it gave me a tool it gave me a paddle to row my way through the shit. But it also came with its own load of shit. Yeah. You know, it's funny because, you know, I probably should have encouraged my kids to learn more about music and be more musical, but I encouraged them to be jiu-jitsu guys, because I felt that, you know, MMA is way safer than music.
It's a better, there's less off-roads there, you know, man. Less bad exits you can take.
You might get punched in your face a bunch of times, but at least you won't, you know, at least it won't be life punching you in your face.
Yeah. Damn.
You know?
and there's, all kinds of drama around it. You described it again as Spinal Tap, just the rock and roll crap. Cro-Mags comes to an end for the most part, and you end up putting out a record, Harley's War.
Yeah.
And good rock and roll music, baby.